what's the film, the Hitchcock film, Vertigo. It almost slipped my mind there. The French have a lovely expression for that sensation, because vertigo isn't really a fear of heights. It's a fear that you're going to throw yourself off. L'appel du vide, and that sort of gets the that we don't have this expression in English, and that's where we are. We're on a cliff edge, and we're on a cliff edge, partly of our own making, and partly because we haven't taken precautions. And without any doubt, 2025 will not be a year of budgetary relaxation. It's not as if Rachel Reeves has been administering some sort of fiscal laxative. Prices are increasing, tariffs are getting tighter, and the appearance of economic stability is starting to falter because of both this local mistake, that's Rachel Reeves' budget, and the global aggression, that's Donald Trump's tariffs. One could argue that this is the year that the bill finally shows up, encased in red tape marked as urgent, and accompanied by an invoice from none other than the American president. Under the pretext of America First, Trump has resumed his favourite hobby of undermining international trade and sowing doubt and discontent and chaos. He is the Lord of Chaos. His declaration of a 25% tariff on all cars and parts built outside the United States is not just a show of patriotism, it's economic vandalism with serious repercussions. Since imports from Canada, Mexico, Germany, Japan and South Korea account for the majority of showroom sales and half of American cars are constructed with foreign components, American consumers, and more importantly, global supply chains will bear the cost rather than the foreign cheaters that Trump claims he's attacking. Even if Britain is not the immediate target of this tariff volley, it will nonetheless suffer consequences. The worldwide car industry is interconnected, and Dagenham is affected by Detroit's cost concern. Wasn't there a song in The Happiest Millionaire about Detroit? I think there was a Disney film from the late 60s. American factories rely on British components. American confidence is followed by British investment. That self-assurance, that fortuosity, that's my byword, is currently on life support. At home, the Iron Chancellor, the Tin Iron Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, is using a plastic calculator to try to square the books without going too far or making too many cuts. Reeves has a slim chance of adhering to her own fiscal guidelines, according to a harsh warning from the Office of Budget Responsibility, the OBR. Her margin of error, not much, £8.9 billion. That's about the same amount that she squandered after the autumn budget. The buffer is gone. And that buffer, completely gone, in fact, after one poor economic forecast, one diplomatic setback, one Trump outburst. We've had that Trump outburst one day after her spring statement, and everything is set to fall to pieces because of Trump. And we should have been preparing for impact. We haven't. By 2028, taxes as a proportion of GDP are expected to reach a record 37.7% and remain there, according to the OBR. If you will, it's a financial Everest that we're supposed to scale in flip-flops, and those flip-flops are being taxed by Rachel Reeves. In response, Reeves has slashed thousands of public service positions. She wants to get rid of more civil servants. Great! Pen pushers should go. Eliminating departments, squeezing benefits, in addition to making a hazy pledge to build 1.3 million houses. The point is, you get rid of bureaucrats because they're not doing the job, not because you have some sort of statistic you want to meet. You don't get rid of bureaucracy by adding a bureaucratic benchmark. Despite everything she did, the spring statement felt more like a weather warning in a gale. Uncertain times ahead with prices rising and patience ebbing. I remember the weather warning that everything is going to be fine just before the hurricane. We need to be clear about who is taking advantage of all this economic chaos. Trump, the self-styled, the self-proclaimed blue-collar millionaire, spent his business career in default on debts and taxes after receiving $1 million loan from his father. Who's freeloading now? Elon Musk used government grants and subsidies, including federal loans of billions of dollars, to establish his business. Who's freeloading now? Trump Jr., who's made less of an impact on global production than a broken toaster, is giving lectures about the value of hard labor. Who's freeloading now? The wealthy, and particularly the elite in the White House, in the Oval Office, are the main beneficiaries of any welfare state that exists. And yet they're deflecting by throwing the blame at Europe. Labour is resolving its own inconsistencies back in Westminster, maybe, despite pressure from inside her own party following benefit cuts that many MPs view as both regressive and electorally toxic. Reeves refuses to raise the majority of taxes, which is sensible politically, but difficult economically, particularly cuts to universal credit, which run the risk of offending the very working families that Labour proposes to support. And if you're on PIP, God help you. In the meantime, Reeves's lofty promise to build 18,000 affordable houses is really a sticking plaster to a gaping wound, like HS2 or the idea of a civil Twitter conversation. Her own goal of 1.5 million homes by 2030 is already beginning to veer into utopian fiction. Yes, the defence budget will also increase by 2.2 billion, but the background is concerning, as is often the case with such pronouncements. While we're spending less on departments like transport, the environment and culture, we're spending more on warships. I wonder whether we're getting ready for a real siege, and whether that siege might not be economic as well as military. And lastly, the tax increases. They're unavoidable, but they're not being announced. The Treasury will have little option but to find new revenue, given its extremely tight fiscal margin and the mounting global inflation pressures brought on by Trump's tariff war. Anticipate hidden levies, in other words, frozen thresholds, and the occasional windfall levy that impacts everyone but the real beneficiaries. And at the same time that we're experiencing and anticipating this squeeze, people in Parliament are getting a hike in their wages. How on earth can MPs brazen out, look at their constituents who are being milked for every penny, who are being denied every benefit? How on earth can MPs look at their constituents in the face? It's no wonder many of them aren't holding face-to-face surgeries. Policy is contributing to the global price increases in addition to scarcity and chaos. Policy. Decisions are lying behind a lot of the pain that we are experiencing. Trade is being weaponized by the US for political ends. And the rules that the UK has put on itself, the rules that the UK itself has made, have crippled it. And I've said nothing, incidentally, at this moment, about Brexit, have I? I've said nothing about Brexit. And the people who started the crisis, whether they were aggressive presidents in the White House, bankers, stupid bankers, or billionaires, mindless billionaires, they're not held accountable for the effects that this misery is having on our country or on the United States or elsewhere. Britain, we need to get our wallets ready. Not only is the price increase imminent, it's already started, and it's not going to get any better. Not with Rachel Reeves around. Rachel Reeves is more concerned about the lies that she can tell, the words she can use to massage the fiction that she's presenting. She's already done that apparently with her CV. Why would we expect anything different with the nation's finances? We're hearing one thing from number 11 was seeing another thing on the ground and in the shops.